Hello, Kaiser here with another video. Today I've got an awesome ride from last summer, July 8th on a Tuesday evening. This was a very memorable and awesome ride, so I hope you guys enjoy. Now, a week before we did this ride, our friend David actually posted it on Strava with a very nice pictures, so we decided to try it out. Livia, myself, and Tatiana. That was a really weird order, but we all kind of came together and was like, yeah, let's try this out. This looks like a very cool and fun route. So we visited 3 spots this time. First one was Skyhaven Park, which is near United Avenue, southeast of Grant Park. Then we went to Glen Emerald Park, which is southeast of that. And finally to a forest at Chestnut Hill, which was by far the coolest. I would search for Chestnut Hill Cemetery. That's where we eventually came out on. I couldn't find the name of the park in itself, so you know, the Strava is in the description, so go find it on your own if you are interested. I hope you enjoy all the scenery of this video, so sit back and enjoy. So to start, we used a little bit of the developing Southside Beltline gravel to go towards Skyhaven. So we actually entered around Gresham Avenue or Edgemore Drive. It's like an intersection between those two, but this was a new direction to get into Skyhaven for me. I've definitely gone to Skyhaven a couple of times, but a couple of times a year. Skyhaven is just one of those that is kind of on the opposite side of where I live, so I don't go that often. Maybe a few times when I go down to Southside Park or something like that. But yeah, so about 4 times a year, and I feel like it's totally different every single time I visit. There's a good amount of looping that you are able to do down here, but it's one of those where I don't go often enough for me to figure out a good line, a good routing, whatever it is. I just haven't figured anything out, and yeah, I don't know, it's one of those where it's also very trashy at times, very muddy at times, very messed up at times, and yeah, I just don't live close enough to make it all worth it for me. I know a lot of my friends that live near here come here like every single day, which is cool, and I'm sure they're one of those people that's making these trails, so yeah, I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll be able to follow them and see their best lines. There's a lot of downhill lines here from the top part that you initially saw. But yeah, and then they all connect to that middle path that we just crossed over, and then comes down to this bottom lower trails that comes right by a creek, I believe. But yeah, it's tougher in terms of technical skills, I think. It's not as smooth and easy flowing as some, in my opinion. Maybe it's just I'm not very good at riding this one, and you know, I don't know the lines either, so that makes it a little bit harder too. But this lower portion of the trails has a lot of these steep gradient kicks that make it a little bit difficult, and if you don't have good speed or ways to pop up your bike, then you'll have difficulty, like this route right here, which I chickened out right here. Anyways, and that top part, the part from the grassy field, I guess, that we dropped down from there to the middle is a very smooth downhill region. So yeah, this was a fun reel, I think, that I also made, where I totally tried to avoid the exposed hole / ditch, and I ended up hitting a root that was in the green grass. not grass, the leaves. So it made me actually kind of tip over towards the hole, which made it a lot scarier. But yeah, so we skipped through all the road stuff, because I didn't record any of it. And we entered Glen Emerald Park, also through a new entrance for me on Lake Drive, it says. This is like a new townhome. It's a new neighborhood of townhomes, if I remember correctly. I think I remember looking at Zillow for some of those houses down there. Yeah, I usually, you could see in the background just now, a concrete path. I usually come from the normal, whatever road it is, and come down on the concrete paths, and it's just a little bit of this trail down here, but yeah, we went through something different this time. Glen Emerald isn't much trails per se. It's more of a loose gravel path with some concrete trail around this beautiful lake. And as you can see, it's very pretty. Although in my opinion, this isn't really a destination, it's more of a sidetrack spot. And the GPS routing just turns here somewhere, and I think it was this thing to the right there.
Not that? Okay.
Yeah, it leads to a weird backyard neighborhood area, which wasn't too rideable, but definitely something new, and that's one of the pictures that David had posted, so it was cool to see.
Yeah. Okay.
At this point, I don't think I even had the route today. I was going fully by memory, and Tatiana has the route, so she's leading majority of it. And yeah, for me, it's usually I have it mostly or almost fully memorized, the routing, I mean. I have it memorized, or I'm just following and
there it is.
really care. And a lot of times rides with her, I don't know the route. We're just going by vibes, unless it's something super long that, like a super long route that I have made. And yeah, here I was taking out some tire pressure because it was definitely way too high for around here and what was about to come. But yeah, this section, I don't really know where we are. I feel like I say this for every single one of these narrated videos. I have no idea where this is. It seems like a small walk path for this top right neighborhood area, and this is like a barbecue camp, not campsite, but a fire pit kind of thing. I don't know, it felt kind of creepy, to be honest. A lot of these stones and the stone seats and everything created a cool vibe that made it a little bit kind of creepy too.
Nope.
And coming out of here was all stairs, so unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know, it's a very pretty area, right? Like, man, I miss summer and just the amount of greenery.
Not this back part.
That's one of the things that I'm definitely missing right now. I rode today outside, and you know, it's a little bit warmer recently, and a lot of the trees are blooming with their flowers, and gosh, it smelled horrible with the pollen that's soon to come, probably. Anyways, this park thing came out to whatever road this is, no clue. And we're about to head into the Chestnut Mountain area.
What?
But yeah, so we're already at Chestnut Mountain actually, now that I look at it. And this was super exciting. We made sure to actually stop by a gas station right before we came over here to top off on water, just in case we get stranded longer than expected in here. All I knew was that there's tons of trails out here and you can spend a decent amount of time.
Ooh.
But
gosh, these are all thorny.
you know, just in case, we got water. Again, it is the middle of summer, so even though it's in the afternoon, I don't know, it was pretty dang hot. So by this point, it was like, I think I had already gone through a bottle and a half or something, maybe just a bottle. And we were like 11 miles in, maybe even less than that.
What
So
are you doing?
it shows how humid it is in Georgia too, right? But yeah, we started out on Crestdale Circle. That was the road. We're just hiking a lot of these thorny vines and stuff, and we eventually get to this concrete wall. I couldn't tell what was on the other side of this dang concrete wall.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there you go. Goodbye to my shifter. But yeah, very pretty shot right here. I feel like I love, you know, I don't want to say like vandalism in terms of this, but it is pretty.
I don't know if that
Can't
yo
lie.
is a good yo or a bad yo.
So yeah, up here we
Oh, the
heard
pipe, okay.
Tatiana yell out, "Yo!" And that's usually gonna be a good thing or a very bad thing. So yeah, I couldn't tell, but this time it was very pretty. So this was awesome.
Nice.
Wait, Kai, put your bike. What's up there? Hi, YouTube.
Hi. Wait. Go over there, actually.
So yeah, as expected, Tatiana's up there on this.
Do not enter sign
I
right
forgot
there.
what it was. My friend posted about what this was. I know that it's like a
That's super
water,
cool.
historical water engineering. I think water was traveling inside of these pipes or something inside of it
Forget the phone.
back in the past. I just can't remember. And I tried to look it up, but it was on her story, so it's gone now. So,
Just because you cleared it
tell
doesn't
what
mean
it
I want to
is.
go through it. But okay.
but yeah, these are like, I don't know, they're a couple feet above my head, so I would assume they're like
should've worn
8 feet
shoes
tall at the
today.
bottom or something. I don't know. I'm not that tall, so whatever. But it's still high up, right? Where we're walking
I
right
should've
here.
brought the extent. You can go back if you want. Now that you said that and I turned around, I don't like it either. Hey, why is my content coming back? Okay, don't do that, but
So I am very, very scared of heights. Especially on things like this where there's no guardrail on the side, but I just had to do it. I knew this shot was going to be very, very beautiful, very pretty. And
damn, you're gonna go the whole way?
yeah, I was just going to walk a little bit, but Tatiana kept on walking, and she went all the way to the other side, which is just crazy to do. I stopped around the middle.
Could you hurry?
Here she got to the other
Could you
side and she
hurry?
wanted to take a picture of me in the middle, and I was like already wanting to turn around, and she was like, "Here,
Starting
wait
to
there."
die
And
here.
she's taking her very long time
Okay.
doing it.
Oh fuck.
And
Oh fuck, that's scary. Turning around is so scary.
so yeah, I was dying a little bit, and then the second I turned around here, that made it really scary
no.
suddenly.
Oh no.
But yeah, we eventually safely get back, thankfully.
I feel like it's okay until you turn around.
And in the back here, you can actually see her running on this path. So
What the hell? How is she?
I turn around after I get to the end,
Nothing.
and she's like already done coming back, and yeah, she continues running. So you know, reckless. Who knows? I don't know.
That's crazy.
Controlled in a way, so who knows? But yep, taking some pictures, whatnot. After this, Tatiana also was like, "Oh, you can walk on this
No.
tiny little ledge
Absolutely
thing."
not.
So she started doing that as
Ma'am.
well.
Holy moly.
Which is scary, but I also was like, this might be good content, so I kind of forced her to go further
Spiders. Oh yeah, that's a big web.
because I'm a wonderful friend.
You're gonna come back? Wimp? Wimp?
Yeah, there were a lot
Okay,
of
let's
bugs
not
and spiders.
go
There's those,
tiptoeing like that. Oh
I
my
forgot the
God.
name of the spider, but it's super invasive from Japan, I think. The big yellow spiders that's recently started to come and show up everywhere in Atlanta.
I feel like we could have
maybe
easily
2
came
years
from,
ago
like,
or
somewhere
something.
much easier.
Yeah, and I was saying here, there is a different path from
For
a different
next
road
time.
that you can enter to come to this pipe a lot quicker. I do not remember what road it is, so please look it up on your own. It did show up on Strava maps. Just can't tell you what road it is. Anyways, here we are. We kind of kept going. There were multiple routes from here that we could have taken, but I don't remember why we decided this way, but we kind of crossed this creek and
Still heavy.
kept on going.
Look at my arms.
I remember also posting the reel here on the pipe, and my friend Gabe just immediately replied to me with a different reel of someone from, I think, Loose Nuts just riding a bike across that whole thing on top. And I'm like, that, I figured someone would be doing it. I thought Gabe would be the one to actually be doing it, but it wasn't him. That's just so stupid to do. But yeah, maybe if I find that reel again, I'll have it in the description for anyone who wants to see. Anyways, here we are. We kind of just kept on going into these trails. I have no idea where we're going. I don't think any of us actually have any idea where we're going. We're just following what looks like a trail, and again, there's so much trails back here that you could probably do loops, I assume. We were following, again, David's routing, so I think after here we just kept following the trail, but noticed that, oh, he crosses over somewhere that we already passed. So we had to kind of backtrack and try to figure out how he routed it, because we assume he knows this area pretty well. That's an assumption. I have no clue. Might be fun to follow him one day. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that was the turn that we were supposed to go on, but we missed it, and we kept on going. We climb up this hill like halfway, and we're like, oh, we were supposed to turn like 500 feet ago or something. So yeah, we come back here and we're like, is this the crossing? Like, what the heck?
we cross? True.
Yeah, it just doesn't really look like there's anything on the other side, but yeah,
Oh,
we do
that.
eventually kind of find it. And yeah, this was probably the
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad.
this was probably the only time that my sandals
Oh, send it as a
helped
walk it?
this ride. If I knew that it was
I
gonna
think
be
if you put your
this
bike in the middle, you could jump in.
messy, I probably would have worn shoes just in case,
Yeah.
but
Whole ball
yeah,
thing.
oh well. We wore sandals, and later on I totally sprained my ankle and hurt it because of it, I
That's
think.
hard.
But yeah, this area was very, very pretty.
I don't even know where this is.
I feel like this would be a nice spot to like do a mini campfire kind of thing. Maybe. Might be very scary to come out of if it's dark already. And there was a car bumper,
They got rid of
like
the
a
car that they
ginormous
stole.
car bumper,
The guy.
plus the rest of the car that was right there. That was just wrecked. So somehow a car got there and got demolished and whatnot, but yeah. We kept on riding. Around here I was kind of starting to die a little bit, I'll be honest. I probably didn't eat well, because I usually just don't. But yeah, this is one of those cases where Tatiana's on Singletrack. She just keeps on pedaling, going whichever direction she feels is right and wants to go, and we follow. And yeah, I mean, now I find out, right, that this place is called Chestnut Mountain, so obviously it is a mountain, and you are very much climbing. I think this route had, yeah, it's 2,600 feet of climbing, so that's a decent bit. And yeah, this is the part where from the creek we're just climbing all the way up and continuing, and it's a lot steeper than it looks on this footage. Like, see the top of those trees? Those are pretty high. And here we get to
Whoa.
this thing, and I'm like, wow, that is beautiful. And then I mess up.
Holy shit! That's why I walked.
I don't know. I guess I was just looking at everyone and hit a small rock or something. I don't know. The whole thing turned.
Well, yeah, okay.
So this was very terrifying in the
That was
moment,
exciting.
but ended up being okay.
Well, I saw you going, and I was like, huh, and I looked up, and I saw the wall, and I looked down, and I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Thank goodness I didn't get hurt. Because in the moment I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna have to wobble out of this place. But yeah.
That was a thrill I was not expecting.
And here, Tatiana is starting to walk towards this wall. And immediately I know what she wants to do.
Are you? Oh, God.
Yeah, so right after this, my camera, I remember, suddenly went into like dive mode when I tried to zoom
sure
in or
there's just a
something in the
little path,
camera, so
too.
I didn't film it. But she went up like halfway, which is really stupid of her to do. But that's part of my content, so can't complain. Yeah, we climb a lot after that, and I think after this, you know, I was already a little bit dehydrated and kind of just dying in terms of energy and food wise. But from that mini adrenaline rush from almost falling and crashing and dying, I guess it was like a mini crash. So my energy levels, my just everything plummeted. So I was like, oh gosh, this is miserable right here the whole time. It's just so much climbing too that, yeah, I genuinely don't remember a lot of this section other than it feeling like it just keeps on going forever and forever. And I think I cut most of the footage, I'll be honest. But yeah, we get to, I guess we get to Chestnut Hill Cemetery-ish area, like an opening. And this should be the opening, I think. No? Okay. Yeah, see, it's just a lot of trail than you would expect out here. Ah, there we go. Yes, this is the thing.
Almost just random glass.
Yeah, lots of trash on this end. I think it's because we're closer to the, like, Moreland Avenue, so a lot more people can just meander on out here, so there's just a lot more trash. And this tree was what destroyed me for almost, well, it's still actually messed up, but yeah, as I'm crossing over this tree, I totally sprained my ankle because one of the trees that I stepped on was rotten right there. So that ankle still to this day hurts very badly. And you can tell that something really hurts when I make a comment in Japanese. But yeah. So yeah, every single pedal stroke, very, very painful right here, but you know, what are they gonna do? So just keep on pedaling, I guess. I got home and it was pretty much purple. You know, oh well. That happens. Anyways, we ride on up here, keep on going. I'm like, I need this to hurry up and end it. On a map, I can kind of see a big road up ahead, so I'm like, it's got to end soon, right? But the routing also had like a mini detour that goes into more trails later, or like right after this. So that was a little bit miserable, but yeah, eventually, yeah, right here was like a side path, jump route thing, so she was gonna go, and I'm like, I guess I'll go, I'll follow, and Olivia was gonna stay, but yeah, immediately Tatiana got off, and like, she was going over a fence and stuff.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I gave up immediately
Fine
after
without
that.
a fence.
This area was weird. I was just walking around, and oh, sorry, that's kind of the end of the footage that I have saved still. But this end area, before I realized that there's a cemetery on the other end, there were multiple tombstones just in the forest everywhere. So that was terrifying, right? It's getting darker and darker. Tatiana is not coming back. Olivia and I are like looking around and we're finding more and more
Most
and more
definitely is.
tombstones by the minute. So that's kind of creepy. And we're like, okay. Well, not we. I was like, okay, I need her to hurry up and come back so we can get the hell out of here. And yeah, I mean, after that again, routing came out to Chestnut Hill Cemetery on Moreland Avenue, so I was like, oh, okay, it's a cemetery. That makes a little bit more sense. I was a little bit more okay with that afterwards.
Honestly, though.
But yeah, afterwards we headed towards Prison Tacos and Grant Park and all of that, and finished up the ride. Yeah, we definitely gotta go before spring hits and all the new vines and all that
Most definitely is.
sprout again and become unrideable, because I think in the winter it'll be a lot more easier to look for the trails and whatnot. And maybe that's why David's constantly been riding it recently, I think. Yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, to be honest. Yeah, okay, bye!